Hey everybody. First of all, I just want to start out by saying a very, very big thank you to all of you that came out to celebrate my birthday. That was a very unexpected surprise with the kind of reverse parade thing where you guys were all lined up and I got to go around the parking lot and hear from you guys, and that was very touching. And then also for the video that was put together, I was very touched. It felt like a Mr. Holland's Opus day where you guys said lots of nice things about me, and it wasn't even my funeral, and it felt I was honored. I was touched deeply. So I appreciate it, and thank you for celebrating my birthday. It was awesome. So with that, we haven't done a small group lesson in a while because last week was Easter, so we took that day off, and so we're back at it today. So our topic is when things get tough, or when times get tough. I forget what I called it, but it's something like that. And I wanted to refer to a passage that I've been thinking a lot about lately, considering what we're going through. And just to kind of give you the build up to this passage, Elijah, one of the prophets, was faced off with Ahab, and in a situation where a lot of the Israelites were worshiping false idols, and Baal in particular. And Elijah challenged 400 of the prophets of Baal to a kind of a face-off where they would both build altars. Elijah would build one, and the prophets of Baal would build one. And then he told the prophets of Baal to go ahead and call on their God and see if he would light the fire for them without them doing anything, to allow it to be their false god that would light the fire. And these people danced around the altar and cut themselves and cried loud to their false god. And Elijah even taunted them, saying, maybe your God is sleeping or going to the bathroom or something, and maybe you need to cry louder. And so finally it became Elijah's turn, and he built the altar. He dug a moat around it, told him to pour water all over the wood 3 times until there was water in the trenches. And then he prayed to God, and fire came down from the sky and absorbed all the water, the wood, burned all the wood, burned the whole altar. And it was a clear sign that God was on Elijah's side. And Elijah was demonstrating God's power and strength in light of the false gods that they were worshiping. So you would think that Elijah was on a big spiritual high, that he was really, really fired up for what just happened, and just feeling like, he's on a spiritual high and all is good. But that's not necessarily what happened. What we see here is in 1 Kings chapter 19. It says this: Ahab told Jezebel all that Elijah had done, and how he had killed all the prophets with the sword. Then Jezebel sent a messenger to Elijah, saying, so may the gods do to me, and more also, if I do not make your life as the life of one of them by this time tomorrow. Then he was afraid, and he arose and ran for his life and came to Beersheba, which belongs to Judah, and left his servants there. So what we have here is a situation where all these prophets of Baal lost the standoff, and they ended up losing their lives too. And in Elijah, you would think it'd be, kind of like riding high, but Jezebel, the queen, gets word of what happened to all the prophets that she supported, the prophets of Baal, and she made a covenant. She swore that if Elijah isn't killed, there's going to be hell to pay. And so now Elijah's terrified for his life, and it says here, but he himself went a day's journey into the wilderness and came and sat down under a broom tree. And he asked that he might die, saying, is it enough now, O Lord? Take away my life, for I am no better than my fathers. And he lay down and slept under a broom tree. And behold, an angel touched him and said to him, Arise and eat. And he looked, and behold, there was at his head a cake baked on hot stones, and a jar of water. And he ate and drank and lay down again. And the angel of the Lord came again a second time and touched him and said, Arise and eat, for the journey is too great for you. And he arose and ate and drank, and went in the strength of that food 40 days and 40 nights to Horeb, the mount of God. So what's very interesting here is that even though this prophet knew that the God of the Bible was on his side, he got so discouraged as this queen wanted his life that he was willing to tell God, just take my life. I'm done. I'm spent. I'm depressed. I mean, you could almost read between the lines that he is dealing with some fatalistic feelings, maybe anxiety and depression, and he was just done. And what's interesting is how God responds to him. Now, there's a lot more that God does with him after this passage. We won't get into that right now. But just the initial response is that it appears that an angel came to him and gave him something to drink and something to eat, had him take a nap, and then woke him up, had a little bit more food there, and then he went for a walk. And so I think this is a great passage for what we're going through right now, because I can tell you right now that being in quarantine for as long as we have already has caused, some anxiety and depression for me, some hopelessness, and it's very easy to be discouraged. And I think, God is a God of rest. He is a God that I could almost feel God speaking in this passage, like, go take a nap, go have a snack, go for a walk. You'll feel so much better. And if that was good advice for Elijah, I think it's really good advice for us. So, especially when the weather's nice, I would encourage you, don't social gather, but get outside, go for a walk, go for a jog, go for a run, and do it. And also, don't be afraid to take a nap, get up, have a snack, and get outside a little bit. And I think if it's good, like I said, if it's good enough for Elijah, it's good enough for us. So you guys, God bless. Thanks again for such an awesome birthday yesterday. And I hope that you have an opportunity to connect with your small group leaders or each other or both, and just process this a little bit and see how you're doing. How are you doing with depression, anxiety, with hopelessness, and how can you process that in such a way where maybe you need to get outside a little bit, maybe you need to take a nap, maybe you need to have a snack, and allow God to sustain you through what you're going through and what you're experiencing, and take those feelings. Well, that's what's really cool about Elijah, is that he took those feelings to God. He didn't get bitter, he didn't get angry. He got down on himself, yeah, but he was able to take his feelings to God and express how he's feeling, and God responded. And it's a pretty amazing passage. So the job for you this week: take a nap, have a snack, go for a walk. It's good enough for Elijah, it's good enough for us. All right, I love you guys, and take care of yourselves, and be good.